Firstly, thanks for coming in and talking with me today. We've got Don Lennon and Billy Kee. But obviously, you're here for one reason, and that's for the Lens 11 versus TV All Stars charity game. Billy, you're playing, and Don, you're the referee on the day. Billy, why for you did you want to be involved?
Probably only last 5 minutes, mate. You might send me off. No, obviously, I've always been big into sort of charity stuff and that, and anything's good for a good cause, and it really sounds like a really good day, and I really look forward to it. Obviously, my family are coming down and that, and to be back up north and hopefully see some old faces.
And Don, for you, like I said, will we see an instant red card for Billy?
I'm not sure about an instant red card. There was a possibility he may get it before the end of the first half, but we'll see what happens on that one. What do you reckon, Billy?
I've never even seen a ref before, so it'll be very interesting. And I'm not the best refs anyway, sometimes.
Don't worry, I'm a completely different ref, as you know, Billy. You've watched me ref before, so I'm slightly different to the norm. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Don, why did you want to get involved?
Well, Tony Cartwright, really. I mean, Tony's a friend of mine, and obviously I go and play golf with his son Chris quite often as well. And I thought, it's something I've always done. I've always done stuff for charity anyway. I've been involved in athletics, so I've done London Marathon, New York Marathon, where I've done it for charity. And this is something a little bit closer to home. Being up north. And obviously Lenny Johnrose being, somebody that I've read his book. I say read it. I'm in the middle of reading through his book at the moment. So it was something that really interested me. And when Tony approached me and said, "Would you like to be involved?" I snapped his arm off and said, "Of course." And
Billy, for you, there's a strong link to one of the charities in particular that I want to highlight. The Sporting Memories. They sport people with depression and anxieties and all that sort of stuff. So for you, was that charity being involved, did that play a big factor in why you wanted to be involved in the game?
Yeah, obviously it did play a big factor and stuff, but any charities nowadays, you see a lot what's going on in the world, and it's very hard right now. And I think mental health over the next year and everything will be very, very hard with what's been on the last couple of years. And I mean, I've been very lucky to have family around me and support me as it's going, and I think Donald can speak for me as well, and I can speak for him, because a lot of people have been through it without even knowing. And to just give some charities a little bit of help here and there with my time, it's not a lot to ask, because I've had help of charities myself.
And just off the back of that, obviously, it's well documented, sort of your career and what happened there. But what's it been like since you retired last year? Has it helped stepping away from football?
It's been very hard at the same time. You know what I mean? I'm still living day in, day out with my issues and my depression and stuff. But obviously, I was lucky enough to know what my triggers were, and that's why I stepped away from football. And even if you talk to Don here and stuff, and me, I'm back playing football again and enjoying it. You know what I mean? And I probably haven't enjoyed it for a long time. While at the end of my career, through pressure, stress, and living away from family and etc. And you know what I mean? It is very well documented and that, but it was what it was in the end. But I've literally stepped away and I started a new life, and I've had to do that for myself and my family.
And Don, from a father-in-law's perspective, what was that like for you? How did you sort of get through it yourself? Obviously, because it won't have been easy. And how did you help Billy?
I was living with Don at one point, remember, at the end of my career. For the last 6 months of my career, I was living and travelling up and down by myself. So he was there.
Yeah, I think I think the important thing was Billy had somebody to talk to, and with somebody myself who has gone through depression myself. Not a lot of people know that. I sort of understood how Billy was feeling, and what we found was we literally were able to bounce off each other. And I can recall a night where I think we were sat on one of the beds in one of the rooms, Billy, if you remember, and it was just me and you talking, and I think I was almost in tears, wasn't I? Because I was fighting my own demons, and it was so good to be able to sort of look Billy in the face and say, look, you've got to make the right decision for yourself. You've got a lovely family, with Lee and Colby and Brady, the two boys, You know, so I said, look, you've got to make the decision that's right for you. You know, and I think that helped him make his decision. You know, me and him having that chat. I think it was almost midnight, wasn't it, Billy? If I remember, it was quite late into the evening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so it was important.
It was, you know what I mean, the last 6 months and that, I spent a lot of time up there in their household and travelling up and down. And it's, I think I made the right decision. I can say that, and I don't regret that. But and at the same time, I enjoy my football again. And I've got other times, things to do, charity matches, and I've got other things to do. And my life isn't all revolving around just being a professional footballer no more. It's revolving around everybody else instead of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Massive.
A question for both of you, really. Don, I'll let you come in first about it. But when people, you know, talk about tough times like you guys did with each other, you know, they say it's important to talk to others and, you know, to talk out about sort of mental health and stuff like that. You know, I've been there as well. But, you know, I can imagine that initially this, you know, would have been hard. How did you go about, you know, talking to someone? Because obviously, Don, when Billy was going through it, you was also still going through it, but you had sort of maybe more.
Can I talk first on this one?
Yeah, go for it, Billy.
You've got two completely different characters here. You've got Don, who doesn't want to talk about his feelings, and he's hid a lot of his feelings away for years through past troubles. And you've got me, who finds it very easy to talk about my feelings to anyone. So that's why people, I think, related to me because I came out. But it's so hard, but it does help to talk. It really does. But at the time, I don't think Don finds it easy now to still talk about him, and he's still trying to work them out in ways where I can openly just come out and speak about things. And I don't know if that's with me because I had dyslexia all my life and I had to talk and ask how to spell and all this. You know what I mean? I don't. But everybody's different. But I would say it does help to speak.
Yeah, I think Billy's right, and I think, you know, for me, you know, I am a very private person, you know, and Billy will know that, and I you know, I'm not one for talking about, you know, my mental health issues and what I've gone through, but I think the only two real people I spoke to about it was obviously my wife, obviously Billy, and obviously I've spoken to my kids about it as well, and I think the important thing is people have got to understand that, you know, you could be outside of your house, smelling of roses, everything's fine because that's your persona. But once you're behind that closed door of your house, you know, all the demons start to come back very quickly. And Billy knows that himself. And it's knowing who to go to, who to speak to. Don't get me wrong, I've managed to dispel a lot of the demons that I've had, you know, from when I was very young, but there's there are some still there, and they do affect me, you know, day to day, and I try to be the most positive person in the world and will do anything for anybody and help anybody as much as I can, because that gives me that sense of, you know, if I'm helping somebody else, it's helping me to counteract that problem as well.
But then you say, that's why I always say, like, I still date. I'm like Don. I try and be positive in that. And people won't know in the real eye what I'm like at home because that's where my demons do come out more.
I do.
But there's the rat, and you have to put the rat away. That's what I always called him, the rat. And if you can put him away and just keep him fed in the corner, it might be all right, and keep him there. But once he comes out, it's not very nice. But people who I live with and that, seeing the real side of me where other people didn't.
Yeah, and that's interesting. You know, Billy has a rat. You know, I have a monkey, and you know, there's a book by Steve Peters,
Unorthodox.
Yeah, which is the chimp paradox. Yeah, which I told Billy about, and you know, it's interesting how, you know, as you read through the book, you start to realise, actually, yes, I do actually have two chimps.
By the way, it's a very good book, but it's very hard to read. I'd advise getting an audio book because that's what I did. I used to travel and listen to it all the time. That's where you learn about different worlds and all that, and it is a very good book. Donald told me about it, and manager Robinson, who's the Coventry manager, he told me about it, and he got me to read it many years ago. But I didn't understand it then until later on in my career.
Yeah, and until I turned around and said, "You need to read it."
Got a few boxes, to put it that
way. You've touched on sort of some advice that you've given out there, Billy. I'll let you come in first again if that's all right. you know, in those last few months before you'd made the decision to retire, what was the best advice that you got in that time?
I tried to enjoy the last few months as I could, but no one knew I was retiring. By the way, I retired way before this, and it was the time when I was living at Donald's house, where I think Donald knew, and not many people knew. And I said that was me done then, and I went and seen a few counsellors and stuff, but I had to make that decision, and a life change had to come for myself. You know what I mean? And I was worried about everything else. It weren't the best. Well, you want advice, but it's very hard to give advice because I was trying to work it all out myself at the time, and I went to America for 6 weeks, and I'm still struggling out there, and the kids, and not me. But I'd just say, don't be scared of changing your life at any stage. Life isn't all revolves about money, about your health and your family, and that's it. You know what I mean? If you can make yourself happy, you can make more people happy around you than you expect.
Yeah.
You've always got to think about yourself first before everybody else, because once you make yourself happy, people will start being happy around you.
Yeah.
And Don, for you, it was, you know, it's not just someone else going through something that you've experienced before. It was, you know, you're the father-in-law, you know, you were very much the, you know, as you said, it was you two living together. You were the person you were bouncing off, as you've said. Did you struggle to give advice, or was it a case of because you were bouncing off each other, it made it a little bit easier?
Yeah, I think it did make it a little bit easier, and I think, you know, like I said, Billy was the first person I spoke to. I'd spoken to about my own, you know, issues and demons that I had, and you know, I found being able to open up to Billy was easier than opening up to my own wife, if that makes any sense, because you know, my wife obviously hasn't gone through those issues, and Billy, I'm sure Billy will vouch for me here. It's difficult to speak to somebody that hasn't gone through the issues. And when you know somebody that is going through the issues and has gone through those issues, it's easier to talk to them.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
Because you can have, it's not you've even got the same sort of things going on, but you can recognise your own situation. You can break down things.
Yeah.
But I think, like, for Donald's advice, and even my own families and stuff like that, they knew it was years in the making, and it was time. They would just say, you do what makes you happy and your kids happy. Because I could have 100 other people saying, what are you doing? You're a footballer. You know what I mean? But my family are the ones who knew what I was really going through, where I've got mates now say, what do you not want to go back to it? And I could go back to it. I swear I've been offered, but I can't. I'm too happy. You know what I mean? And it's just me being selfish going to play professional football again. It really is. Too happy with myself and my mental side of it to even consider going back to it. Yeah. But that thought will always be in your head, because it will be. That's the way it is.
And you know, and Billy's 100% right there. You know, as well as Billy being asked by his friends, I get asked by millions of people. You know, why has Billy given up? Why has he stopped playing football? You know, and my reply to them is always, he wants to concentrate on his family. That's most important to him, and that's, you know, we respect, you know, that he's decided that. You know, so it's hard for both of us having to be asked those same questions day in, day out.
I think that's brilliant. Just to round off this first section, focusing on sort of mental health and all that, I think it's what you both spoke about is like brilliant there. And you know, like you said, Billy, you know, you're happier away from that, and that's great to hear as well. But we're here for the charity game as well. Billy, I'm going to kick off. You know, you're a forward. You're probably one of the younger players.
Hang on. We say a forward. He tries to be a forward.
You're one of the younger players too on the day, I think. I spoke to Colin Hendry, who's going to be on your team. He said he'll be disappointed if it's not double figures. So that's a bit of weight on your shoulders there. Do you think you'll score?
I ain't got a clue, mate. Yeah, I probably will score. I have a knack for scoring, but it'll probably be a penalty if anything.
Come on, you only get the penalty if I give it.
Yeah, but you see my diving, it's unbelievable.
One to watch out for, Don, already.
I'm there to have a good time. It's just to enjoy ourselves and have a good day for everybody. Oh, no, there's some good players in our team, to be fair. Brett Ormerod's in it as well, isn't he?
I believe.
Well, you know what I mean. He'll probably score more than me or Brett. Should do. He's on a lot more money than me anyway when I play.
I'm about to say that, yeah. I'll tell you who we've got, Billy, so far. Some of the names that are already confirmed. So we've got Andy Baines from Radio Lancashire, Graham Liver from Radio Lancashire. We've got Lee Trundle. Did you see him on Soccer AM on Saturday?
He's unbelievable, man.
He's class, absolute class, isn't he? Although he is carrying a bit of weight, and I'll let him know that on the pitch when I see him. You got Steve Jones, Republic of Ireland international. Obviously yourself. We've got Brett Ormonrod there. We've got Dean West, former Burnley player. Paul Weller, and that's not the singer. Yeah.
See, I'm just a token gesture in there, like. There's some good players. I'm Billy Kee to get shut in there. Just because I'm there.
No, absolutely. You know, so I mean, you're the youngest, Billy, so I'd expect you to do most of the running. To be fair, you know, with the likes of Mark.
To be fair, I should be fit again by the time it is. So
yeah, I'm sure you will be. Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Pre-season starts again Saturday, I think.
Ow, yeah.
Yeah. One of the things Colin Hendry did say was that because there's a few young players in, he's expecting you guys to do all his running for him. So
I don't mind it because all my career everybody's done all my running, so I'll try my
hardest. Just on a sort of a family side of things, you're not the only sort of former professional, you know, in your family. Your wife is a former international athlete, isn't she?
Well, she was until I met her. So I'll let Donald do the talk about that.
I'll let you ask the questions to him first. Go on.
Do you want me to go back to the football for now, and then we'll touch on her after? Or are you happy to go into it, Don?
Go into it, mate. Yeah, go into it. It's fine.
So what was it that she did? What was she performing in?
She was an 800 metre runner. So she represented Great Britain several times, and also England, and represented the European Championships as a junior. National champion twice, national indoor champion, national Irish indoor champion as well. Would you believe?
Right.
I know, yeah, it's sad, isn't it? An English schools champion, 3 times English schools medalist. So, you know, I think when Billy and Lee had met, Lee was at a pinnacle as a junior athlete.
Right, mate, she was scary. I went out running with her when I first met, and I couldn't get my head around it. We'd run 4 miles, and she'd run the 4 mile and be catching back up, mate. It was scary, like, and I'd be 2 miles into it. It was really like, couldn't believe it at the time.
Yeah.
Can we not get her to come in and do your running on there then?
You try. It's a bit different now.
So a family full of like successful athletes. But Billy, how did you meet her?
I went to do some testing for her friend at Loughborough University. And she was in Loughborough University, obviously doing her training at college at the time. And I met her there. It was completely out of the blue, a one-off like testing thing, you know. I met her through that, really, mate.
And you know, the funny thing about it is as well. Obviously, Billy was at Accrington Stanley already, you know, and
I've got paper clippings from 2009.
Yeah.
When I'm on it, and she's underneath me. And I didn't meet her till 2013.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like we were both 18. She was doing her thing, and I was on loan. And I went up down Torquay, up to Burton, then to Mansfield and stuff. And then I met her all them years later when I think I was 21 at the time.
Yeah. So in that period, while Billy was being transferred here, there, and everywhere, Lee was travelling all over the world competing.
But at the same time, when I was at Accrington, she was literally about 2 minutes away from me at the time.
She was on the track.
I never knew.
Because you guys, I remember you guys used to train up on the fields, if you remember.
I remember.
Yeah, and I used to have little chats with Mr. Coleman about turning up at the wrong time to train on the track while I was coaching my athletes. If you remember that, Billy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say to John, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, yeah, we can use it today. Oh, no, you can't. I've got athletes here today. You can't be using it today. I've got athletes training on the track.
We had nowhere to train at the time. We was here, there, and everywhere. Oh,
That's
mate,
right. Yeah, yeah, you were. So yeah. I mean, they literally crossed paths for about 3 years.
Don, a different question. What was your first impression of Billy when you met him?
We had a couple of arguments. He was living down there and he was up there, but
yeah, well, I think it was one of those difficult ones, because when you've got a talented daughter, I mean, bearing in mind I coached her from around about age 7, age 8, who's competing internationally, you know, has pretty much got the world at her feet. You know, she was British #1 at the time. Her mentor is Jane Kelly Holmes. You know, it was really difficult for me to understand, you know, what this man wanted with my daughter. And sorry.
Great party, mate.
You know, so yeah, I mean, it was difficult, and again, I had to fight an awful lot of demons. You know, lots of upset, lots of argument, etc. You know, saying, look, you know, you're gonna kill your career, you know, for a boy. And
honestly, if I can say that, I think it probably did kill Lee's career, but now she got a life away from that, and I think if you asked her herself, she misses it. She does miss it dearly, and I know she'd love to be back, be able to run in that. But it probably, if anything, in hindsight, we probably met about 3 years too early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we had a baby quite quick and stuff like that, but she got a different kind of life, and I could never have been a runner, so I can't understand that myself, because I think it's quite sad to be by yourself. But she literally had everything at her feet, and it was probably 3 years too early at the time. She should have met me a little bit later, but it doesn't work like that, does it?
No, it's fate, isn't it? You know, and I think now, I mean, me and Billy get on very well, and we can have a lot of banter. I won't tell you what type of banter we have, because I don't think that's appropriate on here. But we do, you know, we do have a lot of banter, and we do talk personally as well. It's not just the banter side of it, you know. And sometimes, you know, I'll have conversations with Billy when Lee's feeling a bit down, and I'll say, Billy, what's going on? You need to chat with her, because she's not so good.
We've had many of them, mate. It's not all high brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Lee have had arguments, and then me and Don will talk, and we live in a real world, and you know what I mean? And it is, we get on very well like that, and you know what I mean, end of the day. But then me and Lee feel ourselves lucky to have met each other, who get on like house on fire. Because this day and age it's very hard to come by that. It really is.
And two fantastic grandchildren as well, you know. So, you know, so there's always something good that comes out of it. I wouldn't say a disaster, Billy, would I?
To be fair, it's funny though, because it probably ended Lee's career, but made my career.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because I was going out at the time. I was doing this, doing that with the lads all the time, going up Nottingham, going in Leicester. And when we had a baby in that, it settled me right down, and it probably gave me a lot longer in football, and to actually, I would never have won the league with Accrington without Lee, because that's what gave me my platform to be with my wife and be with my kids and stuff.
Yeah, and having your family behind you as well really helped, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, family, everything.
I think what's inspirational for any young couples out there is like, look at these two. You know, now they've helped each other through so much after a bit of a rocky start from Billy stealing Don's daughter, but Billy, did the football for you and the athletics for your partner, did it help the relationship before married life? You know, was there a lot of sort of similarities? You know, a lot of same interests.
Obviously you get on because you're sports people. Like me and Lee can play tennis, or we could go for a run, we can go on bikes. She's still naturally fit. We can still go for a 20-mile bike ride without thingy. So it helps because we can watch athletics, and I like watching athletics probably more than I like watching football, you know what I mean? And you have the same sort of interest. Like we see Brady, who's my oldest son, and we think he ain't got an athletic bone in his body, and we go, oh God, no. You know what I mean? But it's easy with sporty and stuff and that, but we do share the same interest. Yeah, like we really do, and it does help with us getting on and that. But And I think Lee misses it. I'd love her to try and get back into it, to be fair, because it's just hard with having 2 young kids, because I'm at work all day and she hasn't got the time to go sometimes. And by the time I get home, she wants to sit with me, what's understanding. But I think one day, I think Lee will get back into it. She's itching to, you can tell it, but she's just got to, it's not like, like me as a footballer and that, you got to go through pre-season. She finds it hard to go through the pre-season sort of bit now, and she needs to break through that. But it ain't for anyone to tell, it's for her to work out herself.
Yeah,
but Lee's had her own demons the last few years and stuff as well. And with me going through all that stuff and retiring, it's been really hard for her. And I take my hat off to her because she's done absolutely fantastic. And then with all this lockdown, she literally had to talk to kids for the last year. How hard's that going to be? Because I find it very hard when I'm here for a couple of days. I mean, I've got to take my hat off to all women right now who've gone through that, because that is a very hard game where us men have to go out and earn the bread and butter, whatever it's called. But it's been so hard for them. And I mean, I think hopefully when this is all over, I can give her some time and she can get to the gym and hopefully do her own interest, or even start. It's all like starting netball and stuff, and getting her ticking over again to get her own mental side of it go, to get back into sport.
Yeah.
Don, what's it been like, for you with so much sport going on? I mean, you're refereeing now. You coach your daughter to become a professional runner. By the sounds of it, you must have been and still are such a busy person.
Busy, unbelievable, mate. When I first met him, there were about 9 clubs on the go and cadets at the same time. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always, the funny thing is, and this goes back to the conversation we had earlier. I find being busy takes my mind off everything, and I still go out and do my runs, and I struggle if I can't go out for a run. That for me, that's a bad day, because I've not gone out and done me 4 or 5 miles or 10 miles or whatever it turns out to be. So for me, I would say I enjoy being busy. I've started to bring a few things down now. Obviously, me and my wife have been married 31 years this year. So for us, it's very much about me and her now. And the kids have gone. We've just sort of scaled down from house size. There's my daughter Lee, and there's my Brady. Hello, Brady. Hi, Dad. So I think for me, keeping myself busy keeps me ticking over, and I'm starting to enjoy finer things in life now. Me and my wife go on some fantastic holidays. We're due to go to Dominican Republic later this year, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we are planning on having more extravagant holidays because we can.
I think being busy helps anyone, but at the same time, you need to balance it, mate. You really do, because it's right being busy and that, but you've got to put your time back into your family as well and be able to chill out, because otherwise your brain's not going to switch off through being busy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's healthy for yourself. You know what I mean? And I think Donald, when I first met him, he did too much. And I think he's got the balance right at the moment for himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not doing all his clubs. And obviously he had 2 daughters at the time who were both running as well. So Lucy, I think when Lucy stopped running, I think he took a step back from it after that, because I don't think he felt like he had to do it anymore. And I think it's been better for him the last couple of years with not all that stuff going on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think when Lee was competing internationally, I also had another 5 athletes competing internationally as well. So the pressures as a coach for me was quite high, because you're trying to keep these athletes at the very highest performance to compete at the major championships. So I think once they've grown up, gone into seniors, and decided not to compete anymore, I've sort of relaxed. And Billy, I'd agree with Billy. I've started to relax a little bit more. I still have athletes. I'm still coaching athletes, but not at the intensity as I used to.
And speaking of busy, I'm going to go back to the charity game. Don, for you, what type of game are you expecting? By the sounds of it, Billy's going to have your hands full as it is, but you've also then got the other 21 players on the pitch, as well as all the guys off the pitch.
Do you know what? I'm actually expecting a really feisty game. I would say probably mainly from the non-famous players, as they call them.
The pros have got nasty streaks, mate. You didn't get there for no reason. So if someone kicks you, you're on for a game then.
Yeah,
absolutely. I just hope it's got loads of goals in for everybody around it. You know what I mean? Loads of goals, a bit of interest. I mean, but you got some good names there, so it should be good either way.
So yeah, like Billy said, I want to see excitement, for the fans in particular. We want to get a good crowd there. We want to raise as much money as possible. I think that's the most important factor here. I'm going to bring a bit of fun to the game as well. And I can't tell you what we've planned, but there's a few planned things coming forward whilst the game's going on the pitch. So watch out for that.
And Billy, a similar question. Well, off something that you just said about a bit of a fiery game. Colin Hendry said that there's a bit of bad blood between him and some of the Hollyoaks lads. I don't know if you've been made aware of this yet, but just to give you an heads up, I think the fiery game is exactly what you're going to be getting.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry then. Colin's on my team, mate, so I'm an horrible. I am, so I can't help it. You know what I mean? Who are Hollyoaks lads anyway? Who watches that? My missus watches it. That's about it. I think it's the worst program ever.
It's going to be starts on July 18th. Snapping is one of her favourite actors.
I think Lee's sister, Donald's daughter, boyfriend, is related to one of them. One of the Hollyoaks people.
Well, is, yeah.
I think it's Lee's favourite actor as well. I'm sure it is. Tom, she just said Tom.
Tom. Yeah.
That's
number one on your hit list then for today.
Anyone is there, mate. You know the rules. If the 50-50 is there, you don't back out of it because you're going to get yourself injured. So you go in.
Or sent off.
I don't mind getting sent off. I'll be in the bar quicker. You know that. I don't mind getting sent off. Just don't report it after.
Just as a sort of concluding point, along the lines of football, just for sort of the younger footballers out there, you were released from Leicester in your early career, but you bounced back. You played for Accrington, Burton, Scunthorpe. I mean, you won the league with Accrington. And I've just named a few of your clubs there. What's your advice that you can give to maybe some of the younger players that might see this, who have been released from a club?
Honestly, if you're good enough, you'll make it. I don't care what anyone says. If you're dedicated and you're good enough, you will make it. The cream always rises to the top. I know you need a little bit of luck, but if not, seriously, get a trade behind you, yeah, and play football for fun, and you're allowed just as much money as a League Two footballer. And that's the truth, because everybody thinks they're on a lot more money than they are. It's a nice lifestyle, but if you want to enjoy your football, just keep going for it and just enjoy every moment of your career, because at the end of the day, you don't know when it's going to come to an end, and you don't know how long you can play for. And there's a lot more worse people. So every young footballer, just try your hardest, play with a smile, and enjoy it.
And to see us there, Billy.
Unless you call Donald, because he's awful. Then you best become a ref.
Don, as a final point, I mean, you might not want to say it after that, but what's been your proudest moment with Billy?
Married, wasn't it?
I think I would say
your daughter's career.
Yeah, well, possibly. I would probably say, Billy marrying my daughter, the wedding day in particular. If I remember rightly, I think I was in tears for most of the wedding ceremony. And I think one of the things I whispered into Billy's ear when we came together after they were married was, please look after her. So I would say that's my proudest moment, without a doubt.
So, do look after her. Might be a knob half time, but I'm all right.